Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, home prices are skyrocketing, but one real estate analyst says we're not headed for another housing bubble. Also tonight, we'll find out about Arizona's first net zero energy commercial building, and we'll hear from a former National Guard lieutenant colonel about military sustainability efforts. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Valley home prices are up 30% from last year. So, are we headed for another housing bubble? Not according to our guest, Mike Orr, director of the Center for Real Estate Theory and Practice at ASU's W.P. Carey School of Business. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
These home prices are surging out here, yet you're saying not necessarily a bubble, huh?
I don't think they are, and I'm not afraid to call a bubble if I see it. Back in 2005, I definitely thought we had all of the makings of a bubble, but it's different this time. The reason is that the prices are going up because people actually want homes to live in them or to rent to other people. They're not using them as sort of speculation vehicles as we were in 2005. And I think the supply shortage is going to be with us for quite some time. So it's not just that they've already gone up a lot, they're probably going to continue to increase until we get more homes onto the market.
Well, let's talk about and kind of the inference there regarding investors. Are investors a major factor? And if they are, why shouldn't that be a warning sign?
Well, they are a major factor, but they're not buying just to sell to other people. They're buying to rent them out. We've got a lot of people who've been through foreclosure and short sales that can't buy. They need to live here still, so there has to be some rental accommodation. So if we didn't have people coming in to buy those homes and then rent them out, there'd be nowhere for those people to live. They'd just be sitting there owned by banks and not available. So in a sense, they're a necessary part of the churn that's happened because of the foreclosure wave. Those homes, though, they're not empty. So if an investor decides to sell one of those homes, it's got a tenant in them, a tenant family. So when that home changes hands, you may get a home go on the market, but you've also got a family that needs somewhere to live. So it's actually neutral to the overall market. It's not creating new supply.
And yet, if the investors, for whatever reason, all decide to bail at the same time, you've got a problem, don't you?
Well, you have, but that just does not happen. And there's been a lot of talk about institutional investors, because that's the new thing. You know, we've had a lot of small-time investors in the Valley for a very long time, and they're actually still in the majority. But last year, we had a lot of big companies come to town and start buying with cash because they saw a good opportunity. And a lot of people said, oh, well, the market's dominated by these institutional investors. That just isn't true. There's something like 10 or 11,000 homes now in the possession of these big players. But that's a really small number compared with the 1.7 million homes in Maricopa County that we have in total. So even if all 10,000 of them went on the market tomorrow, that wouldn't create a surplus.
But and yet, talk about the dynamics and the change in behavior characteristics between an institutional lender and the mom and the pop. I mean, does that change the landscape?
It potentially could, because we've not seen the institutional investors before. If you talk to them, though, most of them they've got fairly long-term plans. They're not buying these homes just to turn them over within 12 months. Their plan is to hold on to them for typically 4 to 8 years. And they're buying them because they can make money out of renting them out. The money they receive in rent gives them a return on the initial investment. And anything they make in terms of appreciation on top of that is all bonus. It's very unlikely that all of them would suddenly decide to sell immediately. And if they did, we'd have a lot of families who currently lease them who would need somewhere to live anyway. So it's not like suddenly a lot of empty homes come onto the market.
Do we know that those families are interested in buying homes? Or
we don't know, and it may not be them that buy them. I mean, what often happens with an investor-owned home is another investor comes along and says, okay, you want to sell, but I want to be a landlord. So they basically swap the landlord. It still remains a rented home for a long time.
You mentioned earlier the tight housing supply being a factor here as well.
Yes.
How tight is that supply, and why is it so tight?
We are at about 2.2 to 2.3 months of supply. That is very tight. It's normally somewhere between 4 and 6 months in a typical balanced market. So we've got less than half of what we would normally see on the market. And the reason is we've had very little construction going on for the last 5 years. You know, the home builders could not compete with all of these bank-owned homes, so they downsized. Many of them even went bust. And now we've got the population growing again. They're actually not able to build houses fast enough to keep pace with the growing population.
That's an interesting dynamic there as well, an interesting equation, if you will, because these home builders, you know, if they can't keep up, the price goes up. Not a bad deal to get into. I mean, it's almost
home builders rather like that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's almost a good deal if they can't keep up.
In fact, I think a few of them are saying, well, we might be able to build them a bit faster, but why should we?
Yes.
We actually like someone appreciating our product at last, because for the last 4 years they've had the opposite. You know, nobody wanted to talk to home builders. They were the lowest of the low.
Well, the supply of homes, do you see a gentle pace in terms of rising, falling?
Well, actually, I don't know. Like most people, when you're looking at the future, it's quite a mystery what is going to happen. I'm trying to detect where we're going, and at the moment, there's not much sign of a change. The supply is low, and it's not improving, but it's not getting worse. It's kind of stuck. And it's going to be interesting to see, as the prices rise, whether that encourages more ordinary people to sell their homes, thinking, okay, it's now reached a level where I can make some money out of selling my house. We've still got a lot of people underwater, so there's a disincentive from listing your home if you're underwater. Well,
and also I would imagine lenders will be looking at you cross-eyed a little bit if you're underwater. Talk about interest rates, and are lenders relaxing a little bit underwriting rules here? Or
well, there's very interesting dynamics there, because interest rates are starting to edge up. They're no longer at the lowest level in 50 years as they were quite recently. But they're still very low, though, from a historic point of view. And what happens when interest rates go up? There's two sort of things. First of all, it gets more expensive, so that puts people off. But then they start thinking, well, it may go higher still, and if I really need a house, it gives them a sense of urgency. And so in some cases, it actually increases demand, the opposite of what most people expect, because people are thinking, buy now rather than wait till it gets up to 5%. And right now, that's what I'm seeing. People are starting to get more urgency, and the banks are starting to think, well, if interest rates go up, we can actually make some more profit on the difference between the rate at which we borrow money and the rate at which we lend it.
Indeed.
So they get thinking maybe we should relax our lending rules just a little bit. They're very tight at the moment.
They still are pretty tight.
All very tight. So if they went a little bit closer to normal, more people would qualify, and we'd actually get more transactions going through.
From lending requirements to supply of homes, how is the difference between lower cost homes, higher priced homes?
Well, the higher priced homes are more expensive per square foot, and they're also more expensive from a loan point of view, because the interest rates on jumbo loans are always higher than on the conforming loans. Most of the activity and the interest is at the lower end of the market, but the luxury home market is also now hotting up. It often has its best months in April and May, and we've had really good sales rates in the higher end homes in the last 2 months. So I think that market it's actually done the best that I've seen since 2007 for the last 2 months.
So the bottom line for you is that things are moving relatively slowly, 30% year over year.
No, I wouldn't say slowly. I'd say they're pretty hot.
But I mean, as far as the other factors involved, slow enough to where you don't see a bubble popping here anytime soon.
Yeah, the key thing about a bubble is it's going to pop. See, I don't think we're ever going to see today's prices again.
Yes.
We're only going to move up from here. Now, at some point, if they continue to go up at 30%, we're going to get into a bubble, but we're nowhere near that yet.
Okay.
We'd have to carry on at that rate for a couple of years before I'd start to get very worried about that.
All right. Well, good stuff. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Tonight's Focus on Sustainability looks at Arizona's first net zero energy commercial building. DPR Construction, a builder specializing in sustainable projects, recently completed a net zero energy consumption building for its Phoenix regional office. Joining us now is Dave Elrod, regional manager for DPR Construction. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ted.
Let's define terms here. What is a net zero energy building?
So the term net zero means that we will produce on-site renewable energy that will exceed what we use for the year.
As much or more, in other words.
Correct.
Who makes this particular certification?
So ILFI, which is the International Living Foundation Institute, is the certifier for that program.
And this is the first net zero commercial structure built in Arizona, huh?
That is certified.
Yes.
Yes.
And why so few?
You know, I really couldn't tell you why that is. There is it is a bit of an arduous process to become certified. You know, I think that of the program that they're looking at, there's 4 aspects to it, which is the site. Brownfield or grayfield sites are more typical of what they're looking for. As well as the beauty of the building,
yes,
then the energy use and the certification of that. So.
And we're looking at the building right now. It is a beautiful building. This was actually, if I'm not mistaken, like a 1972 building that you guys just absolutely overhauled, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a retail outlet originally, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
it had some hard years on it.
Yeah.
But the bones were great. The bones of the building were fantastic. I went in June. It was about 105 degrees, and when I went in, there was about a 20 degree difference in the interior from the outside, and there was no power or water to the building at the time.
So you knew something could happen here. It was holding its own, even though it was an older building.
Yeah, the structure was good. It was something we knew we could work with.
Yeah,
and the location was fantastic.
And this is the largest net zero certified commercial building in the world?
Yeah, because of the limited number of people who have gone through the certification process.
So let's talk about some of the things that are on this. Temperature-sensitive windows. What's that all about? Well,
the temperature sensing is really done by the building automation system. It is a living, breathing building because of the system. So the windows are operated by the system based on the air quality. So if the air outside is better than the air inside, the windows will open. And then simultaneously with the windows, the 84-foot long solar chimney on the roof, the dampers on that will also open, which as the chimney heats up in the morning and from the sunshine, it'll create that convection current, which will pull the air through the building, creating that airflow, which creates that sensible cooling for people. So even as we operate the building at a higher temperature, we're able to still feel as cool or cooler than if you were operating at a 72 plus or minus 2.
So you got windows opening and closing, the solar chimney either pushing air out, drawing air in, whatever, all by way of sensors, all by way of like a central location that senses all this?
Oh, there's sensors all through the building, monitoring temperature and humidity. We're also monitoring we're very close to the airport at 44th Street in Van Buren, which so we're able to use via the web link. We use the weather information from the airport. And so that allows us, because the building operates automatically, we could run into issues with monsoons and haboobs.
Yes. Some of those lighting structures, they look like there's some outdoor light coming through there. How do you work that? Is there a need for daytime lighting in a building like this? Can you?
We depend on the daytime lighting. So during the day, on a typical day like today, there won't be any lights on in our building.
My goodness.
And so we did significant analysis, and through our analysis, we realized that LED lighting internally was not the best and most efficient use of the money that we spent on the building, but we did use LED where the lights are on all night on the exterior of the building.
And there is some old-fashioned technology, I would assume. I think I actually read about this. Evap coolers, big old fans, you got those going as well, huh?
We have those going. So the convection cooling is something that's been used for over 100 years here in the valley. It was the original cooling system. The chimneys that you're talking about that we use as our evaporative coolers are on the exterior of the building. We use water flow through those from shower heads that will create an airflow through those and funnel that into the building.
What were some of the challenges you faced building? And again, for someone else who maybe runs a business and has a property manager, something along these lines, look at this. I wouldn't mind something like this for my company, my corporate. Some of the things to watch out for, some of the concerns you had going in.
Well, I think the biggest thing is the change in how you operate your space with respect to your employees and the people that you work with every day. It was a drastic change from coming to an office building that just operates, like I said, at plus or minus 2 degrees off of 72 degrees. We operate from 68 to 84 degrees in our temperature band, which means that now we have air flowing across people, and it's just it is a shift in the paradigm for people and how they operate at their desks.
How are they responding?
Very well. I think we've had great results with people understanding how the building operates and what we're trying to accomplish with our net zero building and our sustainable initiatives.
So how long ago was this completed?
So we finished in October of 2011.
Okay.
And so we've completed over a 1-year cycle, which we achieved net zero based on our electric bill. But until we got the ILFI certification, we couldn't really say that we were certified as net zero.
So even on a day like today, or even tomorrow, or coming up in July and August when the humidity hits, people will be able to go to work, sit down, and still, in this kind of a building, be comfortable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we operate with the passive cooling when the air will allow us. So in the morning, even, the windows will be open tomorrow morning. But as the temperature rises, they will close automatically. Yeah. And as we cross that threshold of 84 degrees internal temperature, then we'll go to mechanical cooling.
Last question. Are there other net zero projects on board? Anyone else out there looking to do something like this?
Locally we have a lot of people that are very interested, and we've toured thousands of people and potential project customers through our space. And whether they use pieces or parts, what we're trying to do is just create this living lab that people can come to and see how you could live or work differently right here in the desert.
Well, it's a fascinating structure. It's good to get some more information on it. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Protecting the country is job one for the nation's military, but how much does protecting the environment fit into that job description? Here to discuss the military's efforts to go green is retired Lieutenant Colonel Joe Knott, who served as the National Guard's Sustainability and Energy Program Manager and is now a doctoral candidate at ASU's School of Sustainability. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here, Ted. Thanks for asking.
Sustainability Energy Program Manager for the National Guard. What does that mean?
It means that besides doing the Army's mission of doing what the country asks us to do, fight and win our wars, it's also to do it sustainably, lower our greenhouse gases, more renewable energy, less dependence on fossil fuels. It goes the gamut, but doing things we have to get done, but doing it more efficiently and less impact on the environment.
Talk about the Arizona Guard in particular, for starters here. Talk about efforts there to go green.
Arizona Guard, top. I mean, they just not to give them too good a plug here, but the Department of Defense, Secretary of Defense of the United States, once a year issues an award to the most sustainable person, the person who's made the most impact worldwide on the Department of Defense. The winner this year from the Arizona National Guard. Leading the way on renewable energy at their facilities in Buckeye, up in Flagstaff, solar, wind, new types of technologies, education. Again, the Army and the Army Guard in Arizona educating their soldiers. The soldiers we have now that come in, they're young, they want to do the right thing, they want to serve their country, they also want to do it green, green. And so we owe them as leaders the tools to do that.
How do those efforts, though, coincide with security efforts?
You can't separate them. Again, national security, the Army's job is to defend the country and do what we're asked to by the American people. At the same time, dependency on fossil fuels is a national security issue that, yes, it costs billions of dollars for fossil fuels, which is a problem there. But most importantly, in my biased opinion, people's lives. I mean, Afghanistan's a perfect example where every 24 convoys, 1 out of every 24, unfortunately experiences a terrorist attack, an IED, and a soldier or an airman or a Navy will be injured or unfortunately killed. And that's where, in my opinion, from spending the last 10 years at the Pentagon, I saw that change at the Pentagon where we always meant to do good, but when you could show that less fuel is needed in a place in Afghanistan for one of our bases, less soldiers were hurt and killed. The light came on, solar light, however you like to say it, but the light came on, and it's made a culture change that started in the Army and the Department of Defense. Why?
I was going to say, is DOD getting this? Are they starting to understand this?
They're getting it. Again, I'm biased. 33 years in the Army, just retired. They are getting this 3 decades ago. I'm a tree hugger besides an engineer officer. 3 decades ago, there was not a lot of tree huggers in the Pentagon.
Yeah.
I've seen in the last several years the doors open. They understand this. It's a responsibility not only to protect and serve our country, but protect and serve the environment. And it goes hand in hand. It really does.
And as far as the National Guard is concerned and national military efforts, relatively similar? I mean, obviously the scope of what you can do on a state level as opposed to the national level can be different, but overall, same direction, same focus?
Same policy. The Army policy for the Army is the same as it would be for Arizona National Guard, Army Reserve, and actually to highlight Arizona, the Army is, in the last several months, issued out a commitment to spend $7 billion on renewable energy systems to power Army bases, Army National Guard bases. And Arizona, just 2 weeks ago, the announcement was made by the Army for Fort Huachuca, which is just south of Tucson. They're looking for experts in energy, solar energy, to build a solar generating plant near Fort Huachuca to power the base. And what the Army will give them is, we're your customer. 30 years, we will pay, we'll be your customer. And so it brings together the industry and academia to develop these technologies.
Talk about academia here and partnering with R&D efforts with businesses, with universities. Talk about those efforts. 2
key parts with the Army sustainability policy that was issued a couple of years ago, which applies U.S.-wide for the Army, Army Guard, is education of our soldiers and our civilians, because we have to empower them with the knowledge. Otherwise, how can they conserve energy? How can they do the right thing and create less waste unless they're taught these things? The second thing is partnerships. As I mentioned, Ted, the Army's job is to go win war. We're there to train soldiers to fight and be the best in the world. Our job isn't, we're not experts in the environment. That's where the partnerships come in, from industry, renewable industry, energy efficiency experts. Arizona State University from academia. Perfect example right here in Tempe where first time ever in the history of the Army, in the last 2 years, Arizona State University, their Global Institute of Sustainability, has partnered with the Army National Guard and the Army, Department of Army headquarters at the Pentagon, to actually create sustainability courses at the graduate level specifically made for the leaders in the Army. You know, tailored to a military energy manager, a military trainer.
Well, it sounds like you mentioned tree huggers at the Pentagon. It sounds like they are getting it and they are in that direction. You've been there 30-some-odd years now. You know the background. You were there a long time ago. Was there a point when you saw this really kick into high gear, or was it eventual? It was kind of a gradual increase in interest.
That's a great question. It's a giant organization, million-plus people, so things do move slow. But in my personal opinion, from my experience being stationed at the Pentagon, it really hit home that if you were a tree hugger or not a tree hugger, when you could equate a soldier's life to having less fuel going to the base camp, because now we're powering it with solar energy instead of fossil fuels. Operation Free, which is a veterans organization, nonprofit, exists there to help us educate the folks on we have to get off the fossil fuels. It's cost lives, not only billions of dollars in climate change, but when it takes a soldier's life or injures them, that's priceless. Again, in my biased opinion, there is no second best. That is where the rubber meets the road, and that's where I think the Army has changed. When the leaders could see that by being sustainable and using less fossil fuels, more soldiers came back to their families.
Especially when there's a viable alternative.
Exactly. So many viable. Solar, wind, and that partnership with industry to develop even the next generation of renewable alternative energy.
Well, it's great information. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
And Wednesday on Arizona Horizon, the latest on Medicaid expansion in our weekly legislative update with the Arizona Capital Times. And we'll hear about a company that makes specialty coatings for computer chips. It's at 5:30 and 10 on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
The Global Institute of Sustainability is the heart of ASU's sustainability initiatives, advancing research, education, and business practices for an urbanized world. Sustainability tips found at sustainability.asu.edu/TV.